Gandhi had been writing telegrams all night to his influential friends, and he sent instructions to ashram as well. Okay, and he also wrote a full report to the viceroy. In the morning, as we saw, the whole of Motihari was black with peasants. They were just there to support Gandhi, and Gandhi also realized that he has power over the British today, because he had a lot of crowd for him, going for him, behind him, right? So he was very polite and friendly with everyone, and he did not want to create any chaos, right? He was just controlling them. Everybody was baffled at what is happening right now, and they wanted to just postpone the trial to take it to a later date, and they wanted everybody to disperse right now so that they can enjoy their own comfort and then punish Gandhi in their own time. Gandhi was not going to let that happen, and he said, please, no, don't postpone the trial. I am pleading guilty. There is no need for allegations and counter allegations. Let that be. I am what I am doing is I am pleading guilty right now. Okay, and but the thing is that he read a very nice diplomatic statement, and he said that there is a conflict of duties which I am facing right now. Since I am a lawyer, I don't want to be a lawbreaker, and I don't want to set a bad example as that. And but there is also another humanitarian and national service, the voice which comes from my conscience, which is for my people, right? So I am not disobeying you people. I am not disobeying the higher law, but I am obeying the voice of my conscience. So whatever penalty you have for me, I am ready to accept that. So the magistrate announced that there will be a 2 hour recess. Okay, 2 घंटे बाद तुमको decision देंगे, and for those 120 minutes you can ask for a bail, otherwise you will be sent to jail. And Gandhi said, no, I will not ask for a bail, you take me to jail. And then eventually Gandhi was released without a bail, because they could not take that risk of sending him to jail in front of so many people. So when the court reconvened, they said that the court will not deliver the judgment for several days, and they said, Gandhi, you are free to go. So Rajendra Prasad, Brishkishore Babu, Maulana Mazrul Haq, these were several prominent lawyers in the Motihari district in Bihar, okay, and they all conferred, that means had discussions with Gandhi as to what the future course of action should be. Okay, and why the senior lawyer replied that they had come to advise him, right? So when Gandhi asked them, okay, what will you do if I go to jail now? So one of those lawyers replied that, what will we do? If you go to jail, we'll go home, because we are here to advise you right now. And if you go home, there will be, they had come to advise and help him. If he would go to jail, there will be no one to advise. So he would just go home. So now Gandhi asked them a very prominent, poignant question, that what about the injustice to the sharecroppers? So now these lawyers withdrew as in they went on a sideline. They went to discuss amongst themselves as to what is the thing. So Rajendra Prasad recorded the upshot of their consultations. They thought that amongst themselves, Gandhi was a total stranger, and yet he was prepared to go to prison. Okay. On the other hand, these peasants are their own people. These people are only from here, adjoining districts, and these lawyers have also represented such peasants in many cases. And if they go from here, it would be a shameful desertion. That means if they leave these people here as is and leave Gandhi here, it would be shameful for them to desert Gandhi and the peasants right now. So then what did they do? They said that they only went back to Gandhi and told him that they were ready to follow him to jail. So now Gandhi replied with, the battle of Champaran is won. Okay. He took a piece of paper and divided the duties amongst all the lawyers as to what is to be done if he goes to jail and what is their role. Several days later, Gandhi received a written communication that the Lieutenant Governor has dropped the case against him. And Gandhi again said civil disobedience had triumphed. Gandhi did not say this, but civil disobedience had triumphed for the first time in modern India. Gandhi and the lawyers now went on to help these peasants by having an internal inquiry and having depositions by them. Depositions are statements, legal, which are admitted in legal courts by these peasants as to what is the injustice that is happening to them. Right? Documents were collected. The whole area throbbed with activity of the investigators and vehement protest of the landlords. In June, Gandhi was summoned to Sir Edward Gate, the Lieutenant Governor. But before he met, he already gave them detailed plans for civil disobedience if he should not return. Imagine, Gandhi was not even sure whether he will return if he is going somewhere to meet the British. So he always used to give them plans beforehand. पहले ही whatever is to be done later if I am not returning, right? So Gandhi had 4 protracted, that means lasting very long, interviews with the Lieutenant Governor, who as a result appointed an official commission of inquiry into indigo sharecroppers. Because of the discussions Gandhi had with Edward Bate, the Lieutenant Governor, he was able to convince the Lieutenant Governor into having an official inquiry. Till then they were having an internal inquiry. They were themselves, these lawyers were going to the the peasants and asking their depositions. They were taking their statements. Now there was an official inquiry commission which was set up, and that will conduct an official inquiry. So the landlords, the government officials, and Gandhi were representatives of these peasants. Gandhi was the sole representative of the peasants. Then all 3 parties were there. There were landlords, there were government officials, and there were there was a representative from the peasants, and that was Mahatma Gandhi. Gandhi remained in Champaran for initial uninterrupted period of 7 months, and then again for an entreaty of unlettered peasants in expectation that it would last a few days, occupied almost a year of Gandhi's life. So this was an important moment in his life, and Gandhi initially thought that it won't take him that long to go and solve that issue, but it took at least 1 year of Gandhi's life. Now what happened to the official inquiry? The official inquiry assembled a crushing mountain of evidence against the big planters. Because these people were actually tormenting these little small peasants, so there were a lot of evidence against these planters. And they agreed in principle that we will make refunds. Okay, fine, we will make refunds. So, but then the question arose that how much should you pay? How much will we pay? So Gandhi initially said that okay, you pay 50%, and this Reverend J.Z. Hodge writes in his books that he seemed adamant for 50%. That means he was very, very stubborn that okay, we want at least 50%. So now the British saw that he at least wants 50%. So why don't we trick him into this fight of how much amount we should pay to them? So they then offered that okay, we will give you only 25%. And instead of fighting over the amount, okay, Gandhi immediately agreed. That to his amazement, Mr. Gandhi took him at his word, and thus breaking the deadlock. So Gandhi was not an egoistic man. He was not full of ego. Whatever the best was, even if he had to bend down, he was ready to that. But the important thing here was Gandhi did not want the exact amount of money. He wanted something else that we'll see here. This settlement was adopted unanimously by the commission. Gandhi explained that the amount of refund was less important than the fact that landlords had been obliged to surrender part of their money, and with that part of their prestige. So taking that prestige out of these British was the most important thing rather than just taking their money. Therefore, as far as the peasants were concerned, the planters had behaved as lords above the law. Now the peasants saw that he had rights and defenders. He learned courage. The peasant now learned courage. That we also have rights and defenders. Okay, we are not slaves, and we will not be tried by anyone without law. Events justified Gandhi's position. Within a few years, the British planters abandoned their estates, which reverted, that means which went back to the peasants. Now, indigo sharecropping disappeared. This is the end of the indigo sharecropping incident. Whatever happened, Gandhi was victorious. Now Gandhi looked at Champaran. He was not just content with the fact that he had got these people their land back. He also wanted to change the cultural and economic social backwardness that was prevalent in Champaran. Now this is the difference between Gandhi and other leaders, that he is not just about abstractions. Yeah, it's written down here. Okay, I'll go there. So Gandhi, then what did he do? He appealed to teachers, Mahadev Desai and Narhari Parikh, and 2 other men also joined as his disciples. Their wives also volunteered for work. Many other people came from Pune, right? His son also, even Devdas, came, and they set up primary schools in 6 villages. And Kasturba also taught in these schools. They taught them about cleanliness and community sanitation. So health conditions were also miserable. Everything basic. Okay, Gandhi wanted to start from there. He did not believe in going up and becoming the Prime Minister of India and changing things from there. No, he saw something backward in a particular small village of India. He wanted to start from there. He wanted to improve things from there, from bottoms up, right? Health conditions were miserable. Gandhi got a doctor to volunteer his services for 6 months. Then 3 medicines were available: castor oil, quinine, and sulfur ointment. Anybody who showed a coated tongue was given a dose of castor oil. Anybody with malaria was given quinine and castor oil. And anybody with skin eruptions or any skin problem was given ointment, sulfur ointment, and castor oil. Gandhi also noticed the filthy state of women's clothes, so he asked Kasturba Bai to talk to these women about their clothes. So the woman took her home and she said, it's not a problem of clothes. The thing is that I don't have any. This is the only sari I have. Gandhi also, during his stay at Champaran, made sure that his ashram is being watched. He was taking care of that as well. And once he wrote to the resident that it was time to fill the old latrines trenches and dig new ones, otherwise the old ones would begin to smell. Even this he was taking care of and telling other people in the ashram that it was time to change the old latrines and you have to make new ones now, even if he was not there. The Champaran episode was a turning point in Gandhi's life. What I did was a very ordinary thing. I declared that the British could not order me about in my own country. Very, very important lines. He declared that British could not tell him what to do in his own country. And he showed it with proof to everyone else in India. That even by going by the legal route, right? If somebody is wrong, they are wrong. If somebody is right, they are right. Since he was right, he showed them, everybody in the world also, with a proof that if someone is right, if someone is just, and they are on the right side, they will be redeemed and they will be victorious every time, especially in their own country. But Champaran did not become. The difference between Champaran was not that it was not an act of defiance, that it was not against the British. Okay, this thing was not against the British, it was for the people of India. Right? He started with trying to help our own people, and it became something that was defeating British. Okay, it became that. It grew out of an attempt to alleviate, that means to improve the distress, the problems of large number of poor peasants. This was typical Gandhi pattern. His politics were intertwined with practical day-to-day problems of the millions. So as I said, Gandhi was not a person who believed in abstractions. That means वो बड़े-बड़े ideas कि हम पूरे देश को एक idea से change कर देंगे. No, he did not believe in that. He said, my loyalty is towards human beings, to living things, right, to things that matter. अगर किसी आदमी के घर पे खाना नहीं है, उसके पास कपड़े भी नहीं है पहनने को, right, एजुकेशन नहीं है प्रॉपर, तो तुम उसको क्या आइडियाज़ दोगे, प्रवचन क्या दोगे उसको, right? You don't need to do that. They cannot have a revolution unless they have basic necessities. In everything Gandhi did, he tried to mold a new free Indian who could stand on his own feet and thus make India free. Everything that Gandhi did, he did not just do it as a thing to make India free. He also wanted to make every Indian independent and make his stand on his own feet to make India free. Early in the Champaran action, Charles Freer Andrews, the English pacifist who had become devoted follower of Mahatma Gandhi, came to bid Gandhi farewell before going on a tour of duty to the Fiji Islands. Gandhi's lawyer friends thought that it would be a good idea for Andrews to stay in Champaran and help them. So, एक आदमी है, बहुत famous है ये, Charles Freer Andrews. He was a very, very devoted follower, an Englishman, and he was a devoted follower of Mahatma Gandhi. So he came back to bid goodbye कि गांधी जी मैं जा रहा हूँ फिजी आइलैंड आप छोड़ के. तो गांधी जी के जो लॉयर फ्रेंड्स थे, राजेंद्र प्रसाद और ये मजरूल मौलाना हक, राइट, these people said, oh, Andrews, where are you going? You should stay here. and you should help Mahatma Gandhi. Their idea was that if an Englishman will be on our side, that would give our side more legitimacy. कि इंग्लिश देखो हमारे साइड में इंग्लिशमैन भी हैं, दैट मीन्स हम तो डेफिनेटली सही हैं. गांधी अंडरस्टूड दिस, दैट ये लोग क्यों सोच रहे हैं कि ये चार्ल्स फ्लेयर एंड्रूज को क्यों रुकना चाहिए यहाँ पे. तो गांधी इमीडिएटली सेड दैट यू थिंक दैट दिस इज़ एन अनइक्वल फाइट and it would be helpful if we have an Englishman on our side. This shows weakness of your heart. The cause is just, that means we are fighting for a just cause. हम एकदम सही ही हैं, and you must rely upon yourself to win the battle. You should not seek a prop. ऐसे कोई दिखाने के लिए चीज़ नहीं होनी चाहिए कि हमारे पास देखो अंग्रेज़ भी हमारे साइड है. You should not seek a prop in Mr. Andrews because he happens to be Englishman. तो गांधी जी ने बेसिक उनको एक सीख दी कि इफ़ यू आर फाइटिंग अ जस्ट कॉज, अगर तुम एक सच्ची लड़ाई लड़ रहे हो, राइट, तो दूसरों के ऊपर रिलाई करने से कोई फ़ायदा नहीं है, स्पेशली अगर वो इंग्लिशमैन भी हैं. यू शुड रिलाई ऑन योर सेल्फ. सेल्फ रिलायंस सिखाया उन्होंने कि तुम अगर सच के लिए लड़ रहे हो देन यू आर इनफ, राइट. इंडियंस इफ दे आर फाइटिंग फॉर अ जस्ट कॉज फॉर देमसेल्व्स, दे आर इनफ. ही हैड रेड आवर माइंड्स करेक्टली, राजेंद्र प्रसाद कमेंट्स, एंड वी हैड नो रिप्लाई. गांधी इन दिस वे taught us a lesson in self reliance. उन्होंने गांधी बेसिक चीज़ों से सिखा देते थे. सेल्फ रिलायंस, अगर तुमको इंडिया को गवर्न करना है तो पहले तो तुमको खुद में बिलीव करना होगा दैट यू कैन बी सेल्फ रिलायंट. सेल्फ रिलायंस, इंडियन इंडिपेंडेंस एंड द हेल्प टू शेयर क्रॉपर्स वर ऑल बाउंड टुगेदर. एवरीथिंग वॉज बाउंड टुगेदर. गांधी ने जो भी चीज़ें चलाई थी, तो सारी चीज़ें स्लोली धीरे धीरे एवरीथिंग वॉज कमिंग टुगेदर, एंड that is what led to a larger movement which eventually got India independence.